What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Grunstopher.
and welcome to episode number 85 of Vinyl Bang. Today's topic, pop music.
Pop music.
I wish there was a way we could intricate like a pop song. Have somebody write us a pop song for our theme song. But no, I know Jeff for sure has a ton of pop records and um, guilty as charged. I have quite a few myself. Not a lot, enough to that we normally could do one, but a full episode of. But we both chose six because you know I just I like one of these. One of the ones that I'm going to use is one of my newest purchases because I don't have that much. But the point is, I do enjoy some pop artists. I'll get to it when I get to it, but I'm not always
Yeah,
metal.
yeah. I do not have a lot, or however Nick worded it. I don't have a lot. I mean, I have like several artists, but not a lot of albums. I've got like 5 artists that are classified as pop. And another thing about this episode, like whenever we were doing research for this, like both of us looked on our Discogs to see, if we had enough to constitute even doing an episode for this. And it was like whenever you bring up pop on Discogs, it brings up like Nirvana and the Beastie, or not the Beastie Boys, but like the Beach Boys.
No,
And
Beastie Boys was in there. They
what
were in
was
there.
Beastie Boys in there? I'm sure they were. But the definition of pop to me, like whenever I think of pop music, I think like Janet Jackson, or stuff that was like mainstream, like MTV,
Britney Spears, Backstreet
Britney
Boys,
Spears,
NSYNC, the New
force
Kids on the Block.
force fed to the masses, is what I always
Boy
categorize as
bands.
pop. But
Yeah.
I guess the actual definition is popular,
Yes, short for popular.
which makes sense. But I don't know, a couple of these, like one of them in particular was like a stretch for me. But whenever I was looking up the definition of pop music, it was like something that has catchy choruses, something that I mean, if you were to ask somebody about it, they would know like immediately what you were talking about. So yeah,
That's the case of why don't I just mention Pantera? They had catchy courses.
they did have catchy choruses, but it was like it wasn't something. Okay. How about
Maybe
this?
they were considered pop.
Maybe they were.
Maybe they
in
were.
in certain respects. But I would almost say that pop music would be something that you would hear like played at like Walmart.
I will. Yeah, I will say this: when I worked in a record store, I remember the largest section was rock/pop. So it was very easy to categorize one of those two. And yeah,
Touche.
this should be a fun one. I think yeah, we'll let the people judge us in the comments of this episode for sure. But Jeff, let's not waste any more time here. We've been lollygagging for too long.
Lollygagging, because that's a fun word, lollygag. All right. So pop music, I'm gonna start off with one of my favorites that is pretty well known for people that don't know me, for people that watch the show. I am a fan of Lady Gaga. I love this woman. At first, I wasn't a fan just because I thought she was more of a gimmick because of the outrageous outfits and the auto tune and everything. That she was just trying to be more of a spectacle more than an artist. And then I heard her sing, just her and a piano. I heard her sing a version of Poker Face with just her and a piano, and I fell in love. I was just like, oh my God, this woman's voice is amazing. So then I started going back and really appreciating her music as it is. This is just a standard black version of the Fame, but this is her debut album with a bunch of songs that people know, like Love Game, Paparazzi, Poker Face, Money Honey, Starstruck, Paper Gangsta, I fucking Just Dance. I mean, this is by far one of my favorite Lady Gaga albums. Even though I do celebrate a lot of her catalog, I like The Monster. I like Joanne. Just her latest thing, the Harley Quinn from the The Joker 2, Mayhem is an awesome album, her newest one, Mayhem. But yeah, Lady Gaga is textbook definition pop, so start off strong with Lady Gaga.
For sure. For sure. When I think Lady Gaga, I ultimately think Madonna. I think she was like the Madonna of her time because when I was a kid, Madonna was pop music. There's no doubt about it.
Sure,
She was
sure.
started off pop in the '90s. She became a little bit more risque, but like her music was always eventually it turned out to be pop. That's what it was. But
Mhm.
she was a very like I said, risque, edgy artist. She did a lot of things that most people wouldn't do, and I think when Lady Gaga appeared on the scene, I judged a book by its cover. Yeah, I thought she was a gimmick as well, just like all how she showed up at every awards ceremony in these weird costumes. But
Yeah.
I credit a couple women that I used to go to a bar with, and we would listen to her music like all the time. They played like all of her hits all the time at this one bar we would go to. So eventually, I couldn't resist. I was like, oh, this is fucking actually pretty damn good. So yeah, Lady Gaga, she's fucking awesome. I'd love to fucking listen to Cypress Hill with her. Uh, Anywho, notice the name change.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice that. Pop Nick. Get the
I did it while you were talking there, buddy. All right. My first pick I'm gonna go with is this person is a little bit half hip hop, half pop, but a majority of this album I think is very pop. I'm talking about Ice Spice. This is her first album, Like. Um, she this cover is fucking ridiculous. Um, I think she gets a lot of slack or a lot of people call her an industry plant, and I could see why. I got this album based on the hype because I wanted to check it out. Everybody was talking about her a couple years ago. Some interesting songs on here. Deli and Her Mood, Princess Diana with Nicki Minaj, I think is her biggest one. The song Gangster Boo on the second side is really cool. I like that one. That's one's a little bit more poppy in my opinion. Um, I know she's put out a new album. I think she might be about to put out another one. This is a pink vinyl. Yeah, that's pink, right, Jeff? Does it look like in
yes,
your camera?
yes,
Pink. Okay.
Nick.
Um, yeah, Ice Spice. I fell victim to the hype. It's not the greatest fucking record I own, but it's interesting. I've listened to it a couple times. I follow her on Instagram. She's pretty fucking hot. Uh, but yeah, there we go. That's my first contribution to the pop episode because
Yeah, I've heard of this artist. I've never really checked her out, but
so like a couple years ago at like the VMAs, she showed up and sat with your girl T Swift, and I think she's been like to a couple Chiefs games with her and whatnot. So she's got that in, which is very cool. So she's a global phenomenon, but like musically, she's not anything special. I think she's very mediocre compared to other female artists. Like Nicki Minaj is amazing. Like don't get me wrong, so is Cardi B. They're all really good rappers. Uh, she's a little bit more. I don't know. It does seem like this stuff's fed to her, but that song on the second side, Gangsta Boo, I like that one a lot. It kind of reminds me of like I don't remember who it was, but it was a song from like the early '90s or the late '90s, hip hop popish song. Has that vibe.
mm.
So, what you got next, Popstifer?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm following suit, and I should have made it like grinds pop for instead of just copying you directly. Up
Make it
next,
make sense. Make it make sense.
yeah. Up next, speaking of my girl T Swift.
Yeah.
Up next, the greatest album from Taylor Swift, Speak Now. I fucking love this album. This is a repress, a bootleg. This is not an OG press, unfortunately. Um, yeah, this is, dude. I bought this for $20, like within the last few months. Like this is not by any stretch of the imagination, OG press. But anyway, as far as catchy songs and widely known, I mean, this is probably one of the most popular artists in the world, whether you want to admit it or not. whether you like her, don't like her, I don't care. I fucking love Taylor Swift. This album is by far my favorite. It has songs like Sparks Fly. Mine starts off with Mine. That's an amazing song. Sparks Fly, Back to December. Speak Now. The title track for this album is, man, you want to put me in a good mood. You put that song on because I love that song. The story behind it, everything. There's clapping in it, and I do the whole thing. It's just so fun. Mean. Her famous song "Mean," which unborn children know this song. The Story of Us, Enchanted, Better Than Revenge. I just I could go. I could do an entire album or an entire episode about this album. But yeah, whenever we decided we were going to do a pop episode, I was like, Taylor's definitely going to be in there. I have to brag about Taylor Swift. She did a re-release where she re-recorded all of her albums, just so she could have Taylor's version of her first, I don't know, 6 or 7 albums, I believe. And I've got it. It's over there on the shelf. But whenever I decided which cover I was going to do, I wanted to bring up the OG cover, the original press. Yeah. Taylor Swift, Speak Now. Love Taylor Swift.
Yeah. She just announced the other day on her boyfriend's podcast she's got a new album coming out. She had the vinyl in her hand too, so I think a lot of people are freaking out over that. So
here in a couple months, I'll have that vinyl in my hand too. Pre-ordered that.
Well, so my next pick here, not so. I think this person is also. I originally knew him as a comedian. I first saw he had like a Comedy Central presents stand up, and then he was on this show called Community. And then while watching that show, I realized that he is also a rapper. I'm talking about Childish Gambino. Now this album is called Because the Internet. This is like a weird deluxe edition album version of it. Back is all crazy, trippy looking. This let me show you. So there's songs on this album. I guess he's more famously known for that song "This Is America," which is a hip hop song, but like this album's got a lot of poppy songs on it. This is a special edition. It comes with like this script that he wrote, and this is like the spine when you put it on the shelf. It just says, you can see it, Childish Gambino, but the spine, I don't know if you can see it or not, of the, it says Because the Internet, which is the name of this album. Does it have the track listings in here? Maybe somewhere in this book. Probably not. Yeah, it's got a script that he wrote. Oh yeah, here we go. There's a song called World Star on here that's pretty funny. Dial Up Shadows, Telegraph Avenue, Sweatpants is my favorite one. That's a hip hop track. 3005. That's a really poppy song. Yeah, there's stuff on this album that isn't really hip hop, but it's very poppy, and he blew the fuck up, I guess. After this album, he put out an album. I have that one too. It's like a box. It's right here. But it came with like this app that you had to download, and then there were these like 3D goggles that are inside the vinyl. He always has these really cool, interesting packagings, but I think this guy. First off, if you ever watch that show Community, he was hilarious on that. His stand-up comedy is actually really funny, but shout out to my buddy Brandon. He's my go-to hip hop guy. When I ask him about this guy, he's not a fan, and I can see why. It's very poppy. It is. So that is why I chose to talk about Childish Gambino because of the internet on this pop episode, because this album is very poppy, and I guess have you ever heard that song "This Is America"? It's not on this one, but it's that one's kind of got like his hard beat to it. You'd think that's he's a hip hop artist with that.
I don't know that I've ever heard anything from him either. Like, since you brought up Community, like there was a point where Melanie was watching all of the episodes, and like I would walk in on her, watching the series from beginning to end, and I would see this guy on the show, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's pretty funny. Yes. And then it's his name is Glover.
Donald Glover. Donald Glover.
Glover. And like I was like Joel McHale or whatever, Chevy Chase was in the show. So I was like, I started like looking through the cast to see who was in the show, and then it said that Donald Glover was Childish Gambino, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know this guy was also had an alternate ego, I guess, as a rap artist or an R&B artist. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I never took the initiative to listen to him. I just, yeah.
He also had this TV show on FX called Atlanta, which I think is still on the air. They let him just film it whenever he feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like a dark comedy, but it has its moments. He is a very good actor. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. He wasn't bad on Community. That's the only thing I know him for.
He's hilarious. He is so fucking funny on that show. Like I love that show a lot. It's a shame because I guess Chevy Chase did not like him very much. That's why they killed his character off, because he said some horrible things via voicemail to Donald Glover, and you can imagine what those things are. But yeah, so it sucks. He wasn't a fan of him, but
well, from what I've heard, Chevy Chase doesn't like anybody.
Yeah,
he's a pain in the ass to work with. But
I think Donald Glover's awesome. I love that album because the internet. If I were you, I recommend the song "Sweatpants." That song is hilarious. It's a hip hop song from that record, but it's funny as shit.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So up next is an artist that I'm not entirely. I mean, I appreciate what she's done for the music, the pop music community, especially in the early '90s. I just never really got into her entire collection. This album I picked up solely because it has a track featuring Trent Reznor. I am talking about Tori Amos's "Under the Pink." This album features Trent on a song called "Past the Mission," which is the sole reason why I own this album. I mean, there's other songs that she's done that I'm familiar with, but I just never really. I don't care enough to own the record, But this is something that not necessarily that I have to have everything that Trent Reznor's ever been a part of, but she's a good enough artist. And I dig her approach to music, real solemn, just her and a piano, and I like her voice. But again, not enough to get real involved with her entire collection. This was a Barnes and Noble exclusive pressing. This is a pink. This looks pink, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank God the lighting in Missouri is actually starting to coordinate with me and actually starting to do what I wanted to do. But yeah, Tori Amos, "Under the Pink." Again, not a whole lot to say about her. I dig this album, but it's nothing I'm absolutely crazy about. So, is what it is. I mean, I know I have a couple of a couple of friends from school that were huge Tori Amos fans, and it just never caught on. So, but it was one of the only pop albums that I owned. So I was like, yeah, we'll talk about Tori Amos and her collaboration with Trent Reznor.
She also did a song with Maynard in the '90s, but and fun fact, she went to the high school that I graduated from.
Really?
Yeah, Richard Montgomery, Rockville, Maryland.
How about that?
Google it. They always talked about it when I was there, and I'm like, when the fuck did she go here? I had asked my sister because my sister graduated from there like years before me. So I was like, "Did you know this chick?" But anywho, yeah. So my next artist that I've chosen, this is actually probably the first pop album I ever bought. I really can't tell you how. It was either at work on some radio thing where I first heard her, but she is a Swedish pop artist by the name of Tove Lo, and if you can see this is actually autographed by her there on the bottom. She wrote, "Stay raw, babe," and then when you open it up on the inside, there she is. And there's like another autograph down there. I don't know who the fuck that is, but look at that! What a logo, huh?
That's very very suggestive.
Yeah. Well, the name of this album is called Lady Wood. Her follow up from this was Blue Lips. Um,
Very
you can
inappropriate.
see where she's going here. Hey, take a look at this. There she is laying naked in her bed.
I would like to
Yeah,
borrow that album.
this is a gray swirl, marble swirl, whatever.
Mhm.
There's her clitoris logo again. I don't remember where it was, what job I was working, where like somebody was playing this, and I was like, this is neat. Never heard of this before, and yeah, she's a unique artist. I think I've never seen her live. She's come around here quite a bit, and I guess her whole thing is when she's on stage, she flashes the crowd, and how can you go wrong with stuff like that? So by nature, she's probably a really talented musician as well.
Yes,
Um,
I'm going to see her 4 times.
yeah. Tove she's really good. I haven't bought any of her follow up albums. Everything that came out after that, I wasn't a big fan of. She went a little bit more like synthy pop, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. She's still out there rocking it, and I think she got married recently. So hats off to her. She's a great artist. That album I enjoyed a lot. She had a hit song on there called "Cool Girl" that I always thought was pretty neat. But yeah,
To
the Swedes they certainly ruled their pop music. I mean that's ABBA, right? That's where all that came from.
yeah, I guess so. Swedes do everything right. They do their pop and their death metal and most likely accordion jazz and yeah, Swedes do
They
that
they
stuff right.
produce some pretty good hockey players sometimes. Nicholas Backstrom, shout out Backy.
Shout out Backy, part Swede. All right, moving on. God damn, we're running through these quick. What is this? 20 minutes?
We don't have
Four
much.
albums so far. Show how bad I want to get this over with. I just want to get through the pop episode and get it done. Okay, so this one, as I mentioned 20 minutes ago, this is my stretch. This is the one that I did not necessarily consider to be pop, but upon doing the investigating, whenever I was looking up the definition of pop music, anything that's catchy or repetitious or anything that is widely known by the general public, I'm going to go with Beck. I'm going to go with Beck Odelay. This album has what I consider to be the most hit songs that he has that's most widely known, such as Devil's Haircut, The New Pollution, Where It's At. I mean, everybody fucking knows Two Turntables and a Microphone. So yeah, I mean, it has it's also it's other tracks that's very, 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 very good, awesome tracks on this album. Hot Wax, Derelict, Jackass, Sissy Neck, High Five. I mean, it's an awesome album. It really is. I love Beck Odelay. Back whenever I got this, or back whenever this came out, I thought that this was only like his second album. That his first album was Mellow Gold, and this was his second album. But couldn't be further from the truth. This was like his 12th or 15th album. He put out an album after Mellow Gold, or around the same time. I think it was the same year as Mellow Gold that nobody talked about. Nobody had any idea that it existed, or I mean, the general public. The small town of Louisiana, Missouri that I grew up in just did not pick up on it because it wasn't broadcasted on MTV. It wasn't, again, broadcasted to the masses. It wasn't force fed down everybody's fucking throat. But anyway, this album was. This album absolutely was. Devil's Haircut, Where It's At, New Pollution, very popular songs that you would probably hear in Walmart or as elevator music whenever you're in an elevator. You would hear the elevator versions of any of these songs. But yeah, this was my stretch for my fourth pick for the for Pop Nick episode of Vinyl Bang, of Vinyl Pop Bang.
Cool. Yeah, I have no comment. Rolling on.
Hmm.
Moving on. I don't know what to say about Beck. I like that song "Loser," and then other than that, after that, I never really followed. Wasn't anything that was I was into.
Yeah.
So I don't have any. I have nothing negative or positive to say about the guy. Anywho, um, this was actually a record that I picked up recently when I was on vacation. I stopped at a record store, and they had quite a few of these bootlegs out there. But I am talking about the pop queen, current pop, not pop. She ain't the pop queen, but she's going for the crown. Miss Chapel Roan. This is the NPR Tiny Desk set that she had performed. It is a clear bootleg. Look, there she is, just
Mm-hmm.
all drag. Casual, Pink Pony Club, Picture You, California, and Red Wine Supernova. This is when I heard about her on MTV2. There or MTV Classics. I would watch this metal show, and then they'd play these commercials of these up and coming artists, and they played her performing Red Wine Supernova, and I was like, man, this girl's got great vocals. And those commercials would play for like a month, and they go to another new artist. Then I uh, I saw her Tiny Desk one day, and I was just like, holy shit! Like she's got a great voice, really cool songs. Um, every time I go to the record store and look at her vinyl, it is fucking like $60. I don't know why her music is so damn expensive. So I bought this bootleg of probably one of my favorite Tiny Desk performances. Um, let's see here. This one is Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Crazy thing is, Action Bronson released one of these Tiny Desks on his own. The one that he did. But yeah, instead of paying $60 for Chapel Roan's record, I paid $25 for this bootleg and or 30. But yeah, Chapel Roan, she's taken over right now. She's like, I don't want to call her the new Lady Gaga, but people fucking love her. And
Yeah, she's definitely a big deal. I've tried to listen to this girl, and I think it's her voice. I don't get it. I don't get the draw. But to each their own. To each their own. She's from Missouri. She's from like 2 hours away from where I live, which is kind of cool. It's always cool to see somebody from the hometown, home team, home state, making it big and doing their thing. Which is good for her, but because she doesn't have to get up at 3 o'clock to go to work tomorrow, so doing better than I am. But yeah, but yeah, I've noticed that a lot of her vinyl is very, very, very overpriced. And like I just maybe that's why I'm just kind of drawn away from her. I don't know. It just seems very, very overhyped. And maybe in 5 years I'll hear something and be like, "Oh my God, I've been missing out on this chick," just like I did with Lady Gaga. Maybe. But,
you do that a lot, Jeffrey. You hate on stuff without following through, but it's fine. It's fine. People write hate mail to Jeff about why he should finish the series The Wire. But go ahead, Jeff.
oh, here we fucking go. All right. Pause the episode for a minute so Nick and I can go on about the wire. Oh,
Best show ever.
all right. Stretch number 2. I take any chance I can to talk about Mike Patton. Any chance I can to talk about Mike Patton on the show because greatest vocalist in the world. He did a pop album. Actually, I think he did a couple albums. He did his Peeping Tom was kind of a pop thing, but it didn't really take. This is not by any means something that you could ask somebody, a random fan, somebody that says that they claim to listen to everything. You ask them about this band and they'll say, "Who? Who is this? Who is this?" I'm talking about Lovitch. This album is called Music to Make Love to Your Old Lady by. This album features Nathaniel Merriweather, who is I guess his alias is Dan the Automator. I guess I don't know exactly how this guy Dan the Automator comes into play. I think he might be like the DJ, or I don't know if this guy is both guys. If this guy is actually Nathaniel Merriweather, and if he's also Dan the Automator, I don't know. But Patton is a vocalist on this project, along with Jennifer Charles, which I don't know anything else that Jennifer Charles has ever done, but my God, this woman is very, very arousing on this album. Very well done. The two of them collaborate very well together. This is a turquoise. I forget what this says on the front. Turquoise vinyl. It's an indie colorway from this was repressed in 2022, I believe. The original pressing was in the early 90s or early 2000s, 2008 or 2009. I never owned an original pressing, but whenever the represses came out, they did a standard black. They did this turquoise thing. They did a deluxe box that has like 2 discs or just like in the entire album instrumental tracks and then the regular tracks. And I didn't get 100% crazy with it. I just wanted to have it on vinyl, and this was the only copy I have. But yeah, it's a good album. It's got tracks like I can't remember them all right offhand. Give me 1 second. Pit Stop, Anger Management, Everyone Has a Summer, Book of the Month. Book of the Month is a really good song. Strangers on a Train. It's a good album, but it's nothing that is going to be like a lot of people are going to know about this. It's not a widely known project, which is fine with me because it's still Mike Patton and it's awesome. Awesome. And Nick don't know. Him and his Chapel Roan. You don't know about fucking Lovitch.
All right. Short and Sweet is the name of the album. Miss Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
What a fucking artist she is. She's another one that I really like. Fell in love with watching the Tiny Desk on NPR. And then there are these several women that I work with that constantly talk about her to me. And finally, one day I went and checked out one of her songs, and little do I know they play her music all the fucking time at my work. She fucking rules. She really does. She's got a new one coming out in about 8 days. Short and Sweet is the name of this record. Pink vinyl, some kisses. I don't know what else to say about this girl. She's very talented, great voice. Some of her songs sound very country to me, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of her voice. That's if you got a good singing voice and your songs are catchy, I follow. I kind of assumed that she was going to be bubblegum pop, and she's not really.
No.
It's kind of hilarious because a lot of her fans are these young girls who I think like that, but yeah, she does her own fucking thing. She's a grown woman. I think she's only 21 or something like that. But yeah, Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. She's got a new one coming out in about 8 days from now. It's called Man's Best Friend. I cannot wait for that one because I got a couple copies of that one coming as well. Wanted to check out her new shit is like. I'm following up like Jeff here with his Taylor Swift. So just building my collection the best I can with what I got.
Yeah. Actually, you were the reason why. I mean, not the sole reason. I mean, whenever you brought on that vinyl, I was like, I fucking really like that. I want to go get that vinyl. But it was like a couple days later, whenever I was driving to and from work, I took like these pop artists that are all categorized together. Because like whenever I think about Sabrina Carpenter, I think about like Olivia Rodriguez and Chapel Roan.
Mm-hmm.
And, I took like all these girls that I haven't really listened to before, but like my daughter has subjected me to a couple of them as well. And I'm like, I'm going to give these a real listen to see what I like and don't like. And Sabrina actually stood out more than anybody else. I like her approach. I like her voice. I like her everything. She was really good. I'm a fan. I have not pre-ordered the new album. I'll listen to it.
You should listen. What you should do is really read the lyrics, man, because like she
on Short and Sweet. No. I've heard it. I've heard. I own the album. Very
like,
perverted.
What does she say? Come on me. I mean, camaraderie. Like she just says like silly shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
But like, man, it's shocking. And she talks about it on her NPR Tiny Desk. She definitely brings up the fact that she's like a total horn dog, but she's great songs, great vocalist. Yeah,
she is for sure.
All right,
Very talented for sure.
let's rifle through this episode as fast as we can.
Yes, yes. Let's get this last one out of the way. Then for my final artist is one of my more favorite new artists that I've come across over the last couple of years, and it was solely because of this album in particular. This album was produced by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. This is Halsey. If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. And man, what an album! I mean, I've heard a lot of her stuff over the years from my daughter showing me different Halsey tracks throughout the years. But whenever she was showing it to me, she was showing it to me like mixed in with other artists that were completely different artists, but sounded the same. And I was just like, kind of, okay, it's okay. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not horrible, but it's okay. This album is fucking amazing. And since then, my daughter and I have seen her twice live in concert. What a show. Every time she puts on an amazing show. I've gone back and listened to her back catalog, just knowing that this is her. Amazing artist. Her new album, The Great Impersonator, is also amazing. But there's two different versions of this album. There's the one where the baby is covering her breasts, and then this one, which is still sealed, her baby is not covering her breast. She is in fact naked, and there's a titty. So there's a nipple.
Oh wow, she must be really talented.
And yeah. So, but yeah, Halsey, awesome. She is very talented. Yes, she is.
I've seen interviews of her where she talks about how she used to book metal shows in New Jersey, like metalcore and stuff like that. So she's got her foot in the scene. Good for her.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Okay. Last one. This is probably my all-time favorite pop artist, if I had to say. I know I listen to other things that would probably be considered pop, but this artist, there's two of them. They were a pretty big. I think in the '80s, people were calling this new wave. Maybe, I don't know. Tears for Fears, songs from the Big Chair. This is probably their biggest album. It's got songs like "Shout," "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," "Head Over Heels." This is like the hype sticker that came in the original. When I bought this, it was still in the shrink wrap, and I saved that, but I got to find a way to like glue it on here somehow. But Tears for Fears, they were a really huge pop band in the '80s. They were from the UK. This is like I said, probably their biggest album. The follow up was an album called "Sowing the Seeds of Love." I didn't want to buy the entire album of that. I do own the 7-inch single of that song. Have you ever heard of this song or seen the music video? The music video is kind of trippy for like an early or late '80s song. Here they are on the back there, Roland and what's his name? Oh damn. But yes, these guys are incredible musicians. They're just, you know, I couple back in 2017, I saw them live with Hall and Oates, which I shared a couple weeks ago. I have a 7-inch 7-inch split they did with Hall and Oates where they covered "Creep" by Radiohead, and I don't remember what song Hall and Oates did on there, but I love Tears for Fears. This song in particular is a really cool song. It's just very musical. It's almost, I think people, yeah, I think Paul McCartney even like kind of like made jokes that they're trying to rip off the Beatles with this song, but it's fine. It is what it is. Like as a little kid, I really enjoyed this before. Like I took like a deep dive into metal, and yeah, Tears for Fears, great fucking artist. There's two of them, Roland and I don't remember the other gentleman's name, but yeah, there it is, our pop episode.
Cool. Pop episode done.
Done. Yeah. Here, let's.
That was rough.
All right. So, before we continue on with our new stuff, we got to talk real quick about our Mr. Brent Hinds of Mastodon. Today we lost a legend in the metal scene, and it was very heartbreaking to read this news. I thought it was a joke at first, but Mastodon was a big deal to me in the early 2000s. I went and saw them live countless times. I was fortunate enough to be able to film them. I remember at the first Mayhem Fest, listening to Cypress Hill with Brent backstage. He's he made that band something special. They were all great musicians, but that guy and his unique behavior, his vocal style, his riffs, um, just an incredible individual, and it's just heartbreaking that we lost him due to a motorcycle accident. Is what I read.
Yeah, that was definitely shitty news to find out this morning. I just he was awesome. He really was.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. A couple months ago, he split with Mastodon, and they, it sucks that they weren't on the best of terms ooh, when things were settling down there. But like, man, like that's why I always say don't hold grudges with people. Like you never know when stuff like this happens, because that's really sad. Like that guy,
It is.
same way as Mitch Lurker from uh, Suicide Silence. He died in a motorcycle accident. It's just damn, man. Like, why do people got to fucking live so damn dangerously? Come on.
Yeah. Well, just go to show you never know, man.
Yeah,
You
and
never
and
know.
so with that being said, rest in peace, Brent. Like Mastodon, obviously a big deal to me and Jeff. Um,
I was listening to Remission earlier. I got Remission over here. But, yeah.
yeah. So
Rest in peace,
without
Brent.
further ado, yeah, Jeff, what you got this week?
A couple new ones. Nothing crazy. This one showed up yesterday. This is 7-inch from Primus. This is a couple of live tracks. The first the first recording at all of their new drummer John Huffman. These are two live performances. They did Little Lord, or no, I'm sorry, Little Lord Fentanyl is a studio track, and Dentist and the Proverbial Mind Spread is live from the Mann Music Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this is a gray with white splatter, 7-inch. Uh, yeah, pretty cool little addition to my Primus collection. Up next, what do I got here? Found this on Sunday whenever I was in St. Paul, Minnesota to see Nine Inch Nails for the fourth or fifth time. I found an original 2002 Buddy Head pressing of Irony of the Dead Scene. Found this in the wild. It was just kind of mixed in with everything else out in the open. And whenever it said original 2000, I can't even open this fucking thing. 2002 pressing. It is the red. Jesus Christ, this thing is sealed up good. I have no intention of ever playing this, but there it is, a red, translucent red pressing. Again, an original 2002 Buddy Head pressing. So it's cool to own. Now I own 3 of the 4. I've got they did a translucent red with black smoke pressing that I have not found yet, but I will hopefully one of these days track down a copy of that so I can have all of the OG pressings. My enthusiasm for the EP itself. Got the kit on my wrist. Up next is a bootleg of Alice in Chains Unplugged. This is just a standard black pressing. Sounds awesome. It's a great sounding pressing. I'm not sure exactly the origin from it or who pressed it or what country it came from. It was 2018 or 19 bootleg, I believe. A couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, Melvin's announced a couple of represses. I believe that this is the first time that this album has ever been pressed on album. This is Everybody Loves Sausages. This is a complete cover album that features special guests Mark Arm, Scott Kelly, Caleb Benjamin, Trevor Dunn, J.G. Thurwell, Jello Biafra, Kevin Romantis, Kevin Rutmanis, and Tom Hazelmeyer. They cover Warhead by Venom, Best Friend by Queen, Black Betty by Unknown, Set It on Fire by the Scientist, Station to Station by David Bowie, Timothy Leary Lives by the Popo Pies, Art School by the Jam, just a bunch of different cover songs. But it's fun. It's a really good album, and They generally put their own touch on everything, which is expected. They also reissued for the first time on vinyl that was not a picture disc, an album called Freak Puke, which is just Buzz and Dale and Trevor Dunn from Mr. Bungle and so many other bands. But Trevor plays a stand-up bass on this album. It's an awesome album. I'm glad to finally have a copy of this. It doesn't cost me $300, and I can actually put it on a turntable and play it because it is not a picture disc. This is just standard black. Whenever they were touring on this album was whenever they did the 50 states in 50 days. They played one show in every state consecutively, all 50 states in 50 days, which was awesome. The very first time I ever got to film Dale Crover was on this tour. The first time I ever met Trevor Dunn. First time I ever met Buzz Osborne. A lot of memories behind that album. Up next, about a month or so ago, I found a copy of the Agoraphobic Nosebleed 12-inch Honky Reduction. Relatively cheap compared to everything else online. Everything usually goes for about $150, $200, and this was like $50. It's a great copy. It also includes the glue that binds a 7-inch. Very awesome find. Very happy to have found this online. I wasn't even looking for it. It just kind of popped up, and there it was. And I said, "Oh well, I own that now. That's cool." I also found a $9 copy of Tres Hombres from ZZ Top, which has a lot of bangers on it. It's got "Waiting for the Bus," "Jesus Left Chicago," "Precious and Grace," "L.A. Grange." It's just ZZ Top, dude. I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. Very rough copy. Like, it's bent up and looks like it's got water stains on it, but it plays good. Bought it from Hit Records in Columbia because they always treat me well. $9, $9 album. I also from Hit Records scored an indie pressing of the Hemdale compilation Rad Jackson. This is a bone white pressing, which is their indie variant from Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. Very happy to have this finally on vinyl. And last but not least, 2 represses from Relapse Records, the marbled version of Misery Index Heirs to Thievery, which is the only copy that I need from them on vinyl, or of this album on vinyl to complete my collection. The orange marbled, sunburst, custom marble, whatever that's called. And then finally, the album I was supposed to get from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Cephalic Carnage Anomalies, again on the marbled. This is also the only copy I needed of this. So I also have a complete collection of Cephalic Carnage Anomalies on vinyl too. So those are my new acquisitions for this week. Not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me just get right through this because I got quite a bit. All right, I'm going to start with this one. I always wanted to find this on vinyl. This is actually the first Van Halen album I ever bought on CD, and it's not Van Halen. It's a Van Hagar album. Balance. This came out in 1995. I remember this was like post Nirvana, so I was trying to find stuff that didn't sound like them anymore, and I saw Van Halen had a new album out. There's a song on here called "Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do." Great fucking opening riff. You know, Eddie still fucking shreds on this album. It's good stuff. I know a lot of people hate Van Hagar. Hey, that's fine. That you don't have to be a fan of it, but like they had some great fucking songs, great hits. This is probably one of the rare albums that was like least unknown of theirs because they didn't have like Right Now or any of the other ones. But I enjoyed this album a lot. I was really stoked to get this. I think I was in the 8th grade when I bought this album, and it was just a big deal to me when it came out. Happy to have that on vinyl. Mastodon drummer Bron Daler, he's got this side project called Arcadia. They recently put out this their second album, The Exodus of Gravity. This is a 3-colored stripe with splatter. There's 300 copies of these. Ugh. I should pull this out soon. Look at this fucking crazy artwork.
Oh, that's cool.
Black light reflective, but Look at that shit.
Oh yeah.
Vinyl's pretty badass looking. Look at that.
That was awesome.
I think it looks. There's like the rare one that sold out that I was too late for was like a pinstripe, and I think this one looks a lot cooler than that. That's just my fucking opinion. 300 pressed of these ones. Happy to have one. I have their first album, and you know, I like this stuff. It's very synth heavy. Shout out to Bron Daler. Next, this is a Slayer album I never owned. Hell Awaits. One of their fucking earlier, their last Metal Blade album before they went down to do a bunch of records for American Records. This is like blood marbled. Great fucking album. Necrophiliacs on here. At Dawn They Sleep, and the title track Hell Awaits. Plenty of other stuff. Look at these young fucking dudes. Dave Lombardo, please do our show. Slayer. Can't go fucking wrong with them. All right. I'm going to shout out my boy Jake Tatarakis. He always has an Edge of Sanity shirt on. I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago. He said The Spectral Sorrows is his favorite album. I went and checked it out, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool Swedish death metal from the 90s. There's times where this band kind of sounds like Opeth. There's times where this band just sounds like dirty, like heavy death metal. So I went and tracked down one of their albums. This is a band that I think a lot of people are like would love to see at Maryland Death Fest. I think the main guy who writes all their music just is not into playing. I don't know why, but yeah, Blue Vinyl, Edge of Sanity. Check them out. If you have never heard of them, pretty cool fucking Swedish death metal band from the '90s. This is another record that I bought while I was on vacation. It's another NPR Tiny Desk bootleg. So my girl Sabrina Carpenter, look at her there. She does Taste, Bedchem. It says Bad Chem, but that's not the name of the song. It's called Bedchem. Please, 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 Slim Pickens, Espresso, and Juno. I believe, much like the Chapel Roan one, it's light blue. These were just some bootlegs. It's some motherfucker, like you can tell, like much like the Chapel Roan one, it's like the same cover. They just slap these stickers of them on there, and the song titles are on the top.
Mhm.
And with the Tiny Desk background, because if you've ever watched an episode of Tiny Desk, that's what it looks like. Bam. All right. Ooh, happy to have this. This is one that I've been wanting in my collection for a while. I believe Mr. Grindstoffer talked about getting rid of a OG pressing of his. Queens of the Stone Age, Lullabies to Paralyze. This was the follow-up album after Songs for the Deaf. I remember getting it and being like, damn, this band is really fucking good. Like, I thought, they were going to peak with Songs for the Deaf. There were a lot of fucking killer jams on this album. It's a long fucking record. Somewhere in my CD collection, I have like the deluxe one that came with like a DVD. I think it's like footage of them recording this album or whatnot. But I believe this was Nick. He was kicked out before this one, correct? Or he was on this album?
No, I think Nick was still on that album. Dave
Okay.
Dave Grohl wasn't on there, but I'm pretty sure Nick
No,
Oliver
Dave
was
was.
still on
I know Dave was long gone, but Nick Oliver, I don't remember if he was on this one or not. Anyways, great fucking album. Medication. Everybody knows you're insane. Tangled in Plaid. Burn the Witch. In My Head. Little Sister. I Never Came. Someone's in the Wolf. That's a fucking amazing song. I could go. Long Slow Goodbye. The last song on this album was a really fucking awesome song. There was a period where my buddy Ian and I used to listen to this band all the fucking time, and I remember when I introduced him to this particular album, he felt the same way. He's like, "Wow, these guys are really good musicians, really good songwriters." And I had to agree. Like they're always their songwriting is just so on par. I think, and it's just happy to have that one. It's just like a standard Black Vinyl. And then finally, I'm gonna shout out James Watson. I know he's watching. Regurgitate. Hate-Filled Vengeance. I found this EP somewhere. I think Rotten to the Core had it. Caca Splatter. Yeah. This is one that I never really thought about owning, but I figured I saw it. It was cheap. I bought it. Another thing that Relapse pressed but never, I think, put out on vinyl. So, when their license was up with, when their deal was up with, their licensing deal was up with Relapse. First Over Dinosaur Records decided to repress all their stuff, and look at this artwork, bro. I mean,
Very
they're just
offensive. Yes.
yeah, regurgitate. Like here's another brilliant Swedish grind band, gore grind, Swedish gore grind band. They may be the best ones to do it. Who knows? But yeah, bunch of new stuff I got this past. I don't know how fucking long it's been since Jeff and I have done an episode together. It's been a long time, but
3 years.
the fuck, dude.
Yeah. Good ones.
Alrighty.
Good ones. Good. Oh, and Nick Oliveri was not on. Well,
Okay, so yeah, he was kicked out right before that album was recorded, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't have a bass player. They all just kind of took turns, and they all just kind of played bass throughout Josh and Troy, and I mean, according to Wikipedia, anyway, they all just kind of took turns playing bass. So, yeah, there you
Ugh. Excuse me, shit, edit that out. All right, well, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you, Jeff, for being here this week, for taking time out of your busy schedule as always.
Yeah. What else am I going to do?
Drive 14 hours to see some band you've seen 5 times?
Got to fucking pay the bills, dude. I mean, if I don't do Vinyl Bang and then I don't get my bills paid, then the woman threatens to kick me out. So I got to do it. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thank you, everybody, and we will catch you all next week.
Yep. All right. See you guys.